If someone was looking to build one of these and maintain it when stuff goes wrong, it's as any car enthusiast knows, it's an expensive hobby, but that just gets exaggerated with the more power you introduce. And I think the key part about this car is I'm not just expecting it to do a 12-second run up a drag strip or just drive around normal on the road. It has to be able to do sustained 20-minute sessions on track between 5,500 and 7,500 RPM without dropping off that. So it's engineered basically for that purpose. The SR gets a bad reputation from people that haven't built an engine properly and they've just assembled it. So all of a sudden you get failures and stuff going wrong. But if you build an engine properly with the correct oil clearance, the correct piston to cylinder wall clearance, if it's relevant, valve clearances and correct ingredients, then I've run SRs for 10 years and had very, very, very few issues. Engine spec at the minute, basically it's got the original SR20 DT that came with from the factory 26 years ago. It's a 4-inch RAMAIR air filter that then leads into the GTX3582R GEN II turbo. That has the Tial exhaust housing on it of a 0.83 AR. It's got the Wallon Motorsport exhaust manifold, HKS intercooler, Otaku inlet manifold, Injector Dynamics injectors, fully ported and polished cylinder head with 260-degree Tomei Pro cams, intake and exhaust. I still retain the VTC as well for some mid-range performance. For the bottom end of the engine, it's got MAHLE power pack, forged pistons, forged rods, and it's all tied together with a 1/2-inch head stud conversion. And again, for reliability, it's got the MAZWORKS billet main bearing caps. On the engine, I also have a MAZWORKS 60-2 crank trigger wheel with the ATI super damper and AEM disc on the cam angle sensor just for the home reference. That setup, as it stands on the dyno in low boost, delivers 550 horsepower at the wheels and 420 pounds-foot. In high boost, it makes 590 horsepower at the hubs and 450 pounds-foot of torque. Delivering that power to the road, I've got a XZD Hyper Twin plate clutch. That leads into a 350Z 6-speed gearbox through the custom prop, as you have to do with this conversion. That then gets to the Nismo WAY LSD and delivered to the road through some 275/40 radius 18 tyres. Wheels on the Silvia LMGT4s. At the moment, Pilot Sport 4s, Michelin, on the rear 275/40 18s, on the front 265/35 18. Brakes on the Silvia, the front at the moment are a custom bracket made by HiSpec to suit an R33 GTR disc, so the 330mm disc. Pads, I have some Carbon Lorraine RC6s, which actually are the best pads I've ever used before, to be honest. So suspension at the moment is on HSD coilovers, and then it has the usual adjustable front control arms, adjustable camber arms. Subframe is all solid mounted with aluminium bushes, which actually made a massive difference, transformed the rear end stability. It just deleted the rear end delay or yaw gain that came into it mid-corner because of 26-year-old bushes. And then, yeah, basically polyurethane bushes pretty much everywhere. Also, obviously, a big contributing factor or improvement to the chassis is the 8-point cage. Why did I go for the cage? The cage, to be honest, is kind of, you know, one of them things that you hope you never need to use, but you should really put it in, especially with the speeds that you start traveling around track at. So it was kind of a necessity. So I thought, if I'm going for a cage, I may as well go for a proper cage. That's why I went for the 8-point, to get the torsional stiffness into the chassis and tie it into the front and rear struts. And what that does actually is, when you drive in the car, the response is improved, and every input that you put through the steering wheel then gets transmitted to you as a G sensor within the car. How would I value the car? I still value the car, which is maybe the problem, as the £2,000 or so that I paid for it 7 years ago. So I never drive it and think, oh, I best not crash this. If it gets binned, then the ingredients will get taken out of it and put into something else. The sentimental value of the car, I don't think there's an amount of money that I'd sell it for. There's too many memories, and there's still many more to make, I think. So the next jobs to do on the car will basically include further updating the suspension for another loop, with some more expensive dampers with more tunable characteristics, and probably increasing the brake capability as well, because now my straight line speed is far greater than the original. The only lesson I've learned is, if you're going to buy something, buy the best that you can get. It will last and it will perform to what you need.